Mr. District Attorney. Champion of the people. Defender of truth. Guardian of our fundamental rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And it shall be my duty as District Attorney not only to prosecute to the limit of the law all persons accused of crimes perpetrated within this county, but to defend with equal vigor the right and privileges of all its citizens.
Hello, Pat.
Hello, Fred.
What's it all about, Pat?
I've been waiting for you.
Edith gave me a message. Said you wanted to see me here as soon as I came in. Why?
Where is Edith?
She met my plane and I dropped her off at home. Now, will you stop being mysterious?
How was the trip, Fred?
All right. We'll talk about the trip. It was fine, Pat. I brought back a briefcase full of contracts. Enough work to keep the plant going for a year.
You didn't have any trouble?
Trouble? Why should there be trouble? We've been meeting Army standards for plane insulation for years.
You didn't hear anything about a new process?
Well, now that you mention it, I do seem to remember...
Yes?
Some shave tail and material procurement was on the pipe about a new revolutionary process for stitching insulation quilts. I think he called it an electronic stitcher. I don't know. Maybe it was radar stitcher. I didn't pay too much attention. You can always hear that kind of talk around Washington.
It's not talk, Fred.
It's not?
No, that's why I dragged you down here tonight. I've seen the electronic stitcher. It works, Fred.
So?
So before this year is out, partner, you and I might just as well be tooled up to manufacture buggy whips.
Bad as that? I mean, the machine's that good? You sure?
It's better than that. It'll make all the new equipment we put in the first of the year look like junk. And that's what it will be. Several $100,000 worth of junk, only we won't be able to realize 10 cents on the dollar.
Well, at least this genius ought to be willing to sell or lease his patents to us.
No, Fred. I've talked to him, practically on bended knee.
That's a fine bargaining position. Well, we'll make out all right, even if we have to retool and manufacture widgets and sell them to the Hottentots for bed warmers. Oh, that reminds me. I haven't been in a bed in over 20 hours. Come on, let's go home. Tomorrow morning, we'll give this whole matter an airing.
You go on, Fred. I've got a couple of things I want to wind up here before I leave.
Okay. See you tomorrow morning.
It went off accidentally.
Well, what were you doing with it? I see. Thank heaven for that kind of accident. Come on, we're going home. You heard what I said? Home. You're staying at my house tonight. I can't stay up and watch you, but at least I'll know where you are.
Fred,
Now, stop it, Pat. I'm not going to hold your hand, and I'm not going to lecture you either. Just straighten yourself up. Now, come on, let's go. I trust you to drive your car? You're coming to my house.
Okay.
All right, now get in your car and I'll follow you. Well, look who's still up. What's the matter? Insomnia?
I was waiting up for you. What did Pat have on his mind?
Oh, you know Pat. He worries too much.
Oh, then it wasn't anything really important.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Your brother's a worrier, but there's usually something behind it. Anyway, I brought him home and put him up in the guest room. Did I tell you? It's nice to be home, Mrs. Leifer.
Fred?
Yes, dear?
I think Pat just drove away.
You're right. His car's gone. Well, I suppose he just wanted to get into his own bed. Smoking in bed. What do you want to do, burn up the joint?
Leifer and Harrison nearly under control. Hold companies 105 and 111 for standby. I'll release all others. We'll stay here until it cools down. I want a crew of arson specialists standing by. Right.
Hello, Chief. Looks like you've got a live one.
Yeah, Paul. Unless I'm badly mistaken, the live one's going to be dropped right in the district attorney's lap.
I heard you saying something about arson.
The plant went up like a bomb or a can of gasoline. I talked to the night watchman. This plant made quilting. It's insulation for airplanes. Stuff's fire resistant.
Well, they may have some kind of a solvent stored in the plant.
Well, we'll find out about it. I told the night watchman to call the owners. You can't come in front of the lines, mister.
Battalion Chief?
Yeah.
The watchman told me you wanted to see me. I'm Frederick Leifer. It's my plant.
I hope you had plenty of insurance.
Plenty.
We've had trouble controlling this fire, Mr. Leifer. Something like a gasoline fire. What do you keep stored in those buildings?
I don't know.
Mr. Leifer, I'm Paul Garrett, the district attorney. Any cooperation you can give us, we'd be glad of.
The district attorney? Mm-hmm. Does that mean you're the question of this being a crime? Arson?
Well, we won't know till the building cools off and we can send men in to evaluate what happened. Meanwhile, the chief is curious about the explosive quality of the fire. That's why he was talking about gasoline storage.
There shouldn't be, but...
But what, Mr. Leifer?
But I'm really not qualified to answer that question. I've been away from the plant for several weeks. Washington, negotiating a contract with the Army. I'll have to talk with my partner, Mr. Harrison. He's been in charge.
I told the watchman to get Harrison on the phone, too. Have any idea what's keeping him?
Well, yes. Harrison stayed at my house tonight.
And you didn't tell him about the fire at the plant?
Well, all the night watchman told me was that I ought to get down here in a hurry. There was a lot of noise and shouting on the wire. If he said anything about a fire, I didn't hear him. I thought I'd let Pat... That's my partner. I thought I'd let him sleep.
Can you get him on the phone now?
Well,
Well, suppose we all meet back here tomorrow morning. And then we'll have a better picture of what happened.
Tomorrow morning.
I'll see you later.
Okay. One thing about a businessman like Leifer, he's got too much at stake not to show up in the morning. And if he or his partner is guilty of arson, sooner or later they'll comprehend the terrible thing they've done, the lives they've endangered, and then it will be panic.
Pat! What are you doing here?
I've been here a long time.
A long time. Pat, you started the fire? I didn't want to believe it.
Nearly got me, Fred. The fire, the whole place just exploded.
Now, don't talk. You've got to get out of here. Where's your car?
The whole place just exploded, Fred.
Yeah, you said that. Now, where's your car? Where did you leave it?
Home. I drove one of the pickups down here. Left the back of the plant.
Okay. I'll take you to your house. Do you have any idea what you've done, Pat?
I had to. I had to do it.
You did?
We had to get out, Fred. It was the only way. I know. I've thought about it for the past couple of weeks. That's all I thought about. How do we get out of this spot? What do we do with all that obsolete machinery? How do we keep from going bankrupt? Don't you understand, Fred? The insurance money from the plant and the machinery will give us a new start. I did it for both of us. For Edith. I couldn't see us go broke, start over from scratch, Fred. Could I do that?
Shut up. Now listen to me, brother. There isn't going to be any insurance money. The DA was at that fire. I saw him. They smell arson already.
They can't prove anything. I bought the gasoline over a week ago. Used the pickup truck. Had them fill the tank. Then I drained it off into cans I brought from the plant. Then I went to another filling station, did the same thing. Nobody'd remember that. Nobody saw me come here tonight. How are they going to prove anything?
Are you going to tell the DA you were toasting marshmallows? We're supposed to be at the plant in the morning, both of us. And believe me, Pat, you're going to tell the truth about what happened tonight.
No, I can't.
Either you will or I will. Make a clean breast of things and take your medicine, and I'll do my best to pick up the pieces. It isn't going to be easy for any of us, but we'll manage. Do we understand each other? I'll drive by for you in the morning. We'll go down to the plant together, okay?
I tried to kill myself tonight, Fred. Why did I have to miss?
Don't tempt me to answer that. I guess this just isn't my lucky night.
This can, along with a couple others, in a burned-up pickup truck behind the plant. Frankly, I suspect whoever started this thing blew himself to kingdom come at the same time. Imagine, spreading raw gasoline through a closed plant. Builds up into an explosive mixture, and then all it takes is a spark from a blue serge suit, and wham.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Leeper. Mr. Harrison hasn't arrived yet?
No, not yet. You talked to him last night. Oh, that's right. You told me he was spending the evening at your home.
He was until I got home and told him about the fire. Then he dressed and went to his own apartment, I guess. He said he'd meet me here.
Well, I guess he'll be along then. The chief was just going to tell me something about these timbers.
I was about to point out the nature of this ash. It indicates intense heat, more than the timber itself would generate in burning. I think you can see here and here sort of a charred trail. Some inflammable oil, gasoline, or kerosene was poured on the floor. Where it soaked into the wood, naturally the fire burned deeper there. The police crime lab is making chemical analysis for positive identification of the charred wood.
Then you're sure this is arson? Or should we wait for a full report before reaching any conclusions?
It's arson. The police are already investigating it.
Good, Chief.
See you later.
I wonder what's keeping your partner. You're positive you talked to him. Be perfectly honest with me, Mr. Leeper. Do you expect him to come here at all?
Why shouldn't he?
You say you saw him after the fire at your house. May I recommend, Mr. Leeper, that you tell me the truth, the plain, unvarnished truth? If you're trying to protect Harrison...
All I ask, Mr. Garrett, is that Pat have the opportunity to speak for himself.
Then I suggest we go find Mr. Harrison and give him the opportunity. You know where he lives, of course.
Pat? Pat, are you here? I don't understand it, Mr. Garrett.
Well, this may be the answer. It's addressed to whom it may concern. Do you recognize the handwriting? It is Harrison's, isn't it?
Yes, it's Pat's writing.
Well, let's see what he has to say for himself. I'll read it to you. I am writing this in full confession of my criminal act of starting the fire which destroyed the manufacturing plant of Leifer and Harrison Enterprises. There's more. If anyone is interested, they can look for my body off Devil's Point. I hope I can be forgiven for what I have done and for what I'm about to do. Signed, Patrick Harrison. I'm sorry, Mr. Leifer. It's kind of tough to get it this way.
I can't believe it. Pat was mixed up. He worried until he was sick, out of his mind, but...
To your knowledge, has he ever tried anything like suicide before?
Last night, just after I got in from Washington, he tried to shoot himself. I guess that makes everything else that's happened my fault.
Well, how do you mean?
He needed help, and I gave him a pep talk.
Sit down. Police department. I'll have to have a full description of Harrison. How old was he?
Why, about 39.
Complaint board. Age, weight?
5'10", around 165 pounds.
Hello, this is Paul Garrett, the district attorney. I have a possible suicide attempt at Devil's Point on the Coast Highway. That's right, a man named Patrick Harrison. Age 39, 5'10", weight 165.
Hello, John.
Oh, hi, Paul.
This Harrison's car?
Yes, it is. The Coast Guard put a diver over and found it, and he fastened a chain around the axle, and we hauled it right up.
Any luck with Harrison's body?
No, and frankly, I don't expect to have any.
You mean the tide swept it out to sea?
Well, that's a possibility, but it isn't what I mean. As I understood it, this is supposed to be a suicide.
That's correct.
Well, don't make book on that, Paul. Now, look here in the car. I want to show you something. The accelerator pedal. I've heard of water pressure doing a lot of crazy things, but nothing like this. The spring's been removed from it. The only place it can go is down, right to the floorboard.
Well, that's very interesting, Sergeant.
Now, there's more. Walk over this way with me. Look at these marks. Now, here's what I think happened. Our suicide boy stopped his car here, pulled the spring off the accelerator pedal to race the engine, eased out the clutch, and stepped clear. From the looks of these marks, the car must have taken off like a jackrabbit. After that, Mr. Harrison had just one problem.
What was that?
It's a long walk back to town.
I'll buy everything you said, Sergeant, with one exception.
What's that?
Mr. Harrison has a brand new problem. The police department. Well, thanks for the guided tour. I'll see you later. All right. Now we've seen the car in which Patrick Harrison of Leifer and Harrison is supposed to have committed suicide by driving into the ocean. There is strong physical evidence that the suicide is a fraud, and Patrick Harrison is alive. The answer to a business crisis. Ready cash from the insurance company, if he gets away with it. He didn't. He bungled the job. Poor old Harrison. His brother-in-law mourns for him and waits, perhaps for the life insurance company to pay off his policy. A matter of several $100,000. And the police department waits, too, for Harrison to contact his brother-in-law, or for Leifer to make a move that will lead them to where Harrison is hiding.
Darling, I'm home. How for you, darling?
I know this isn't the proper attitude, but I wish people would stop writing me these letters of condolence.
Well, take it easy, darling. It can't last forever. Dear Fred, even a ghost has to live. Come to 10278 Miller Canyon Road and bring money. Honey, I've got to go out for a couple of hours.
You won't be late for dinner, will you?
Not if I can avoid it.
W1. Suspect now proceeding south on Liberty Street. W1. Suspect turning west into Miller Canyon. W1. Suspect just entered 10278 Miller Canyon Road. We are staking out 50 yards south. KMA 724. Come on.
Pat, this is the craziest stunt I ever heard of.
What's crazy about it? You're going to benefit. I'm the one taking the chances.
Oh, you're the courageous one. You risk your life to burn up the plant, and now you're hiding out like a movie gangster. I hate to be stuffy about this, but just what do you think you're accomplishing? In what way do I benefit? Or does anybody benefit from this foolishness?
We were about to go bankrupt, right?
That's just your opinion. But go on.
All right. The fire. If I'd gone to the DA like you wanted me to, confessed and gone to jail, the fire insurance would never pay off. Never in a million years.
Just what makes you think it will pay off now?
A man who would commit suicide is mentally ill. Not responsible for his acts. You can make them pay off. And then there's my life insurance. That's money in the bank. Sooner or later, they're going to have to pay off for my death. And all I want of that is my cut when it comes in and money enough to live on in the meantime.
You really are out of your mind. I won't be a party to anything like this.
You can't help yourself.
Is that a fact?
If you turn me in, I'll tell them we planned this together. We're partners, aren't we? Everything we do, share and share alike. So, I set fire to the plant and you covered for me, just like we planned. And the suicide, that's our big effort. I'll tell them that we were going down to South America and spend all the insurance money and live like kings. Deny it. Deny it all you like. See who the DA believes.
I think that's exactly what I will do.
We can answer that question for you right now, gentlemen. Mr. Harrison, you're under arrest.
Stop where you are.
Relax, Harrison. You've caused enough trouble already.
He's right, Pat. Why did you have to do it?
Well, that's the jackpot question, Mr. Leifer. You'll have to answer that one in court.
Hello.
I'm David Bryan. I hope you enjoyed Mr. District Attorney as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Next week, we have rather an exciting story. I think you'll like it.